Thank you. Thank you. Thank. At some time I have to start. Thank you very much, His Worship the Mayor of Chaguanas, parliamentary colleagues, fellow speakers this afternoon, evening, candidates assembled here, and those of you assembled here in what appears to be over 1,000 persons at this hall and hundreds outside as far as my eye can see. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Monday cottage meeting. The Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, listening to our program now, of course. I want to welcome those folks, supporters, tuning from all over the world on various social media platforms, friends in Canada, New York, Caribbean, and Europe. Our great friend Norbert in Canada, Ricardo in New York, and others who are tuning now to our program. Brothers and sisters, we are about serious business tonight. We are about very, very serious business of rebuilding our country, of rescuing our country, of saving our nation and our children. Tonight, the UNC takes to the street to speak to the current issues affecting us as a nation, issues that if we do not respond to, threaten to destroy this country irreversibly. Look where we have reached, brothers and sisters, that today we are under a state of emergency. And in the month of January, today is the 27th, we have had 27 murders. In a state of emergency. We have the data from the police as well. In my hand we have it. For January, only until the 23rd of January, brothers and sisters, we have had, in terms of wounding and shooting, 42. In a state of emergency. We have had a progression of murders. We have a weekly analysis that speaks volumes to the increase in criminal activity. While this is happening, the government has abdicated. Rowley, Young, Hines, and others throw their hands in the air. They have given up. They had to give up. Brothers and sisters, they are playing games with your lives and the lives of your family. They have destroyed every institution. All. They have destroyed. I see a few days ago, Rowley at a function in Port of Spain, talking, beating his chest. You know what is instructive apart from the rubbish he's speaking? Forget that for now. They just tell everybody they built a new headquarters in Port of Spain, state-of-the-art, Balize house and so on. And we will check on that house eventually. Because every house they build, like Trail will fall down. So they're boasting about the headquarters. Why you didn't use the headquarters to hold your meeting? You went to Napa, which is a state facility, and they pay no rent. They don't pay for services. They pay for nothing. A few years ago, 2023, in the parliament, what is called a standing finance committee, we inquired only for 1 year. The PNM was owing TTT $600,000 only in 1 year for carrying their broadcast live. And they did not pay. So they are using TTT for their broadcasts without paying. They are using Napa for their meeting without paying. While they have Balize House, while you have social media, you can procure those platforms and so on. This is how they abuse the authority. This is how they abuse the authority. And while that is happening, Fitzgerald Hines and Stuart Young, who is a former Minister of National Security, have been an unmitigated failure. Brothers and sisters, let me come to the point one time, you know. There's a famous saying we have, when you come to shoot, you shoot. You don't waste time. Headline here, mystery boat sinks. As a Express. Guardian, in my hand. Mystery boat disappears. And Newsday, Coast Guard loses mystery boat. Now, this would have been funny had it not been tragic. Only in Trinidad under Young and Hines, the Coast Guard could tie a boat and then lose it. If you read the story, brothers and sisters, what appears to be a small fishing vessel may have survived crossing the Atlantic Ocean, the Kalapani. It survived like the Fatal Razak and come here. You know the Coast Guard find it because somebody tell them it was there. They hook it up with a tow line and then lost it. The Coast Guard vessel had 16 men on board. So what is 16 of them going to do? To play all fours downstairs? And forget, and then somebody come upstairs and say, hey, where the boat gone? Where the boat gone? That is the Coast Guard under Hines and Stuart Young. Brothers and sisters, they are ill-equipped, without resources. And today, this matter speaks to international criminal activity. The Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, Interpol, the FBI would have an interest in human remains on a vessel off the coast of Trinidad and Tobago, and they lost it. They lost it. That is Trinidad and Tobago under Hines. And even under Hines and Young, they have no equipment. All the boat park up down Stobles Bay, down there, Chaguanas. They don't have crew, they don't have fuel. And now the Coast Guard put out one of the most disgusting, I can't describe, but they put out a press release on the weekend. They say thank you to the person and the people who give them the information on the boat. But if all you see it again, call them. This is the press release. They say if all you see it again, call us. This is the only country that the Coast Guard will lose a boat with dead people. You could imagine if it was living people. And that speaks, as I said before, international criminal activity. We call now for a full independent investigation into the disappearance of that vessel by the police and international agencies. The men or women on that boat who, wherever they are, they came from somewhere. They may or may not have been involved in illegal activities. Brothers and sisters, this is the legacy of Stuart Young. This Coast Guard is the legacy of Stuart Young, brothers and sisters. And you must never forget that. Never forget. Brothers and sisters, a few days ago, maybe a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago when I spoke to you last, I raised the matter of Stuart Young trips to Venezuela. Tonight I will just raise one issue related. He took forever to give an answer. You know, when he gave the answer, what he revealed, Stuart Young was in Venezuela for a trip mere weeks before the Venezuelan national elections. He went with an interpreter, alone. What was Stuart Young doing mere weeks before the elections that is highly contentious in Venezuela? Tonight we ask Stuart Young to tell us, is it true that the government of Trinidad and Tobago has signed a non-disclosure agreement with the government of Venezuela, wherein if they meet any official from Venezuela, you cannot reveal the identity of government officials of Venezuela? Because half of them wanted in the United States and the next half under arrest. So you cannot disclose their names. This is why Stuart Young cannot tell you who he met with in Venezuela. And they're playing bad. They're playing bad in Parliament. I think it was Camille Robinson Regis, if I'm not wrong. He said, what Trump could do we? Well, I want to tell you all something today. It start. This morning, Caribbean Airlines code BW482 departed Trinidad at 8 a.m. and arrived in Orlando International Airport at more or less 12 noon. That flight originating from Trinidad and Tobago, the flight didn't dock in somewhere and go, it originated from Trinidad, Piaco. 80% of the passengers were subjected to secondary security screening selection. 80%. What that means, I will tell you what that means because I too had to learn that. It means that 80% of those passengers, 8 out of 10, were placed in special jackets they had to put on. They were ushered, carted away to a security room where they were subjected to a much more aggressive pat-down. Their luggage was searched again, and some also had to undertake what is called swabbing of electronic devices for explosive residue. That is where we have reached under Young, Hines, and Rowley, that today in America, when you travel, you are subjected to secondary screening in the United States. Trinidad and Tobago, this paradise, that is where we reach. It is only a matter of time before that government decide that those PNM officials and their family will have their visa revoked. I don't mind that, that's the PNM and the family, but it will also involve ordinary innocent citizens of this country. Because of Young, Hines, and Rowley, you will be subjected to all type of treatment that you were not before, given this government playing hanky-panky. They're playing hanky-panky and footsie with Maduro. That is what will happen in American airports in the coming days. And Stuart Young led us there. Rowley led us there. You all, I want to remind you as well. Did you remember what is called the Vincent Nelson debacle? They tried to get a fella named Vincent Nelson, I think that's his name, to fabricate stories and write all kind of statements and so on to get money to sink Anand Ramlogan and Gerard Ramdeen, I believe, to make statements against them for criminal prosecution in the first instance. Then we discovered that they promised Nelson money so that he can fabricate allegations against Ramlogan and Ramdeen. Do you know Vincent Nelson has stated on an affidavit, he has stated in writing in what is now a public document, that on a flight, a British Airways flight in March 2020, he had a discussion with Stuart Young on a flight. And this man is a major star witness for the government in a criminal matter involving a former Attorney General and political opponent. And Stuart Young is having discussions on a plane. What you all were discussing? The menu? The beverage choice? What you discussing with a witness? And Nelson goes on to say that Young tell him, it's not me leak the information to the British, it's not me. You think I'm stupid? Well, we think he's stupid, but he's telling Nelson, and Nelson puts it in writing, that is the man who wants to be Prime Minister of this country. Young also recruited a prosecution agency, a private prosecution service in England, the famous WPC Kate. They spent $45 million to attack, to hound down officials of the partnership administration. You know when they stop investigating? When they run out of money. To this day, they are owing the people in England some money for that, and they cannot pay. And I want to tell the people in England, as soon as the UNC return there, you will be returning that money to Trinidad and Tobago. You will be returning that money. And Rowley come now selling Stuart Young. He from Lal Bihari Trace. I want to tell you something. If you get Rowley a map of Trinidad, he can't find Lal Bihari Trace. And it's a branch 1, branch 2, branch 3. He can't find it. But Stuart Young suddenly, and he said Lal Bihari Trace, Debe. Penal, sorry, he said Lal Bihari Trace, Penal. Lal Bihari Trace is in Debe. But I'm not surprised, you know, years ago, Rowley as housing minister came to Debe to open a little housing settlement there. It mash up, of course, when he built it. And he come with a jeep load of police. I saw them by a junction. They get lost. And we had to give them directions how to find Wellington Road, which is nearby. So brothers and sisters, don't be fooled by all that stupidness, Lal Bihari Trace. In all these years, Stuart Young in executive office, he never sent one hamper, one toy, fixed one road in Lal Bihari Trace. The only route set on Lal Bihari Trace is in the road now where grass growing. That's the only route he have there, nothing else. So don't get chained up with that kind of stupidness. Brothers and sisters, I only have a couple of minutes again, but to tell you another critical issue facing us, of course, is the level of the infrastructure collapse in Trinidad and Tobago. You will recall that on the highway right here, the building an extension, you all know that. All of you it creates havoc for you, correct? I have a feeling, you know who designed that? A fella named Fred Flintstone from the Flintstones. Because that is a quarter-mile road where you have to decelerate to get on, then accelerate to go, and then decelerate to come back. How are you doing that? Because if you continue, you will fall off the highway downstairs by the flyover. They cannot finish that. They were supposed to finish in November, then December. This is January, and now they are saying it's 70% complete. When will it ever be completed? And I put it to you, it will never be completed. That has been plagued by design problems, by the quality of materials they have used as well. Inferior quality. They had to dig up the road when they pave it. That is what we face with this government. Millions of dollars lost. So when that fellow who running around here and want to be candidate and want to be MP and things, you must ask him, what about that road? You couldn't make half a quarter mile of road. You want to come minister and MP? In this constituency, we stand strong in support of our warrior sister, hard-working sister, dynamic leader, the Honorable Vandana Mohit. And we stand strong on all our candidates. For St. Joseph, the very distinguished attorney at law, Devish Maharaj, Dr. Chaitan Maharaj, Aruka Lopino, and of course the great doctor from San Fernando, Dr. Daulat, San Fernando West. That is the caliber of candidates we are giving in this election, and we will take our time. We will give you brilliant candidates. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa is leading a screening committee to select the best team to run the government. I want to put it to you as supporters of our party. You must be concerned with people who are team players. If you try to mash up when in opposition, you could trust people who backbiting and undermining when you're in opposition. You could put them in government. You could put them in government. When you go in government, you have to have a strong, disciplined team of brilliant men and women, not people you have to watch every minute behind your back to see which part of your back they put in a knife. That's not what you want. And we are building a team. We must be stable in government to develop this country. We cannot allow for a team that will be unstable, that will be in chaos and bacchanal like the PNM. We don't want that. We want a strong team, and we are building that team. So brothers and sisters, I want to leave you there. We have a powerful lineup of speakers this evening, and to tell you, stand strong.